There is something I need to talk to you about today because I've seen too many people silently struggling with battles they cannot explain. And I'll be honest with you. I hate watching someone try so hard to move forward, only to feel pushed backwards by forces they cannot see. I hate seeing people doubt their progress, question their worth, or feel watched spiritually with no understanding of why. I know that feeling personally. I know what it is like to sense that something is monitoring your peace, your steps, and your breakthroughs even when everything around you looks normal. So, if you've ever felt suddenly drained when things were going well, or confusion suddenly appears right up when you are close to a breakthrough, stay with me, because today I'm going to show you exactly how witchcraft monitors your progress, how marine spirits use emotional and spiritual tactics to track your movement, and what you can do about it. By the end of this teaching, you will finally understand what has been fighting your progress, and you will never walk blindly again. 1. Monitoring through dreams. Dreams are one of the most common and accessible ways witchcraft and marine spirits observe a person. Strange faces watching you, shadows passing by, animals observing you, or familiar people appearing without speaking. These are indicators of surveillance. Dreams of water, rivers, oceans, or swimming are often signs of marine monitoring, especially when someone is just watching you from a distance. Job 33, 14, 15 says, "For God speaketh once, yea, twice, in a dream." And if God speaks in dreams, the enemy also attempts to operate there. 2. Monitoring through marine water altars. Water altars are spiritual mirrors used in marine witchcraft. They track emotional patterns, relationships, decisions, and progress. People with ancestral or spiritual ties to water often experience repeated cycles of delay, emotional confusion, or dream disturbances connected to oceans or rivers. Isaiah 57:20 says, "The wicked are like the troubled sea. Marine spirits are restless watchers." 3. Monitoring through emotional manipulation. Marine spirits monitor emotions more than actions. They use sudden heaviness, unexplained sadness, irritation, or emotional confusion to read your spiritual condition. These emotional shifts are used as spiritual signals. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence. Your emotions are spiritual doorways, and the enemy studies them." 4. Monitoring through familiar spirits and close people. Monitoring can come through people who are close to you, people who ask too many questions, people fueled by jealousy, or people unknowingly influenced by familiar spirits. Psalm 41:9 says, "Mine own familiar friend hath lifted up his heel against me." Not everyone watching your life has pure intentions. 5. Monitoring through delay, cycles, and patterns. Witchcraft observes your reactions to delays. If sadness stops you, delays increase. If disappointment breaks your spirit, disappointments multiply. The enemy repeats what works. Ecclesiastes 1:9 says, "There is no new thing under the sun." Cycles continue because patterns are studied. 6. Monitoring through astral projection and night surveillance. Presence in the room, sleep paralysis, shadows, or night disturbances indicate night surveillance. Psalm 91:5 says, "Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night." Night is spiritually active, and surveillance often happens when the mind and body are resting. 7. Monitoring through relationship interference. The enemy watches who enters your life. Progress often comes through people. So witchcraft disrupts meaningful relationships, creates sudden confusion, or removes key people. Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" 8. monitoring through financial disruption, sudden losses, unexpected expenses, or drained finances often indicate monitoring of financial progress. Malachi 3:11 mentions the devourer, revealing that financial attack is a spiritual strategy when breakthrough is close. 9. Monitoring through spiritual marks and tracking devices. Some monitoring comes through spiritual marks, placed through dreams, trauma, or ancestral ties. These marks function like invisible tracking devices. Galatians 6:17 says, I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Jesus. Just as God marks, the enemy attempts to mark. 10. Monitoring through mental pressure and discouragement. Witchcraft studies your thoughts. It releases confusion, pressure, or anxiety to read your mental condition. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. A renewed mind is harder to monitor. Now that you understand the tactics, here is what you must know. Monitoring only works when you remain predictable, emotionally open, and spiritually unaware. These steps help close the doors. 1. Break predictable reactions. Respond differently to pressure. 2. Guard emotional doorways. Calmness confuses monitoring spirits. 3. Protect your dreams. Awareness weakens intrusion. 4. Keep major plans private. Quietness breaks surveillance. 5. Heal emotional wounds. Old patterns feed familiar spirits. 6. Maintain mental clarity. A steady mind blinds monitoring. 7. Strengthen identity. Confidence closes spiritual access. 8. Stay consistent in spiritual habits. Small routines create protection. 9. Practice inward quietness. Inner peace makes you spiritually invisible. 10. Remember, monitoring does not equal control. Awareness weakens the enemy instantly. Witchcraft monitoring is one of the most underestimated spiritual tactics operating in the lives of many believers. Most people think spiritual attacks begin with sudden storms, visible battles, or dramatic oppression, but most battles begin long before anything manifests outwardly. The enemy studies before he strikes, observes before he interferes, and watches before he disrupts. But now that you understand how monitoring works, you will no longer walk unknowingly into spiritual traps. Awareness gives strength. Understanding gives clarity. And clarity shuts down the enemy's access to your progress. If this teaching opened your eyes or gave you clarity, take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who needs this understanding. Your support helps this message reach those silently struggling. Thank you for spending this time with me today. My prayer is that this knowledge brings peace, strength, and direction into your life. Walk with awareness, move with confidence, protect your progress, and stay spiritually alert. Until our next teaching, remain steady, remain grounded, and remain at peace.